Somewhere in a bombed-out city, a man picked up a rifle, looked through a scope, and changed the rules of modern warfare forever. American commanders didn't know his face, they didn't know his name, but they knew one thing. Every time this man pulled the trigger, somebody died. This is the story of the sniper that the most powerful military on Earth could not stop. What does it take to become the most feared sniper in a war zone? Not just skill, not just patience. You need ice in your veins, a mind like a computer, and the ability to disappear completely in broad daylight. Today we're breaking down the full story. The missions, the kills, the tactics that had entire units on lockdown, and the moment American forces finally came face to face with a ghost they couldn't catch. Before we talk about what he did on the battlefield, you need to understand who this man was. He wasn't born a soldier. He was born into chaos, into a world where war wasn't something that happened on TV. It was something that happened outside your window. From a young age, he learned two things: how to survive and how to watch. See, the greatest snipers in history share one trait. They are observers first, shooters second. They study terrain, they study patterns, they study people. And by the time they pull the trigger, they've already won the battle 3 times over. In their head, this man was trained in conditions most soldiers never face. Extreme heat, broken equipment, no backup. And he didn't just survive that, he thrived. Because when you strip everything away from a soldier, what's left is the truth of who they really are. And what was left of him was dangerous. The first reports started coming in around year conflict period. At first, commanders thought it was just bad luck. A few casualties here, a patrol that walked into the wrong position, but then the pattern became impossible to ignore. The shots were coming from impossible distances, ranges that most trained marksmen wouldn't even attempt. And yet, nearly every round found its target. One American officer reportedly said, pause for effect, "We weren't losing soldiers to combat, we were losing them to a ghost." Units started changing their behavior. Soldiers stopped moving in predictable patterns. They avoided windows. They stopped standing in open doorways. The psychological effect alone was devastating. Because fear is a weapon, and this sniper was using it like a master. And here's what made him truly terrifying. He wasn't just shooting. He was sending a message. Specific targets, deliberate choices. This wasn't random. This was calculated. Now let me break down what made this sniper so incredibly hard to counter. Because this is where it gets genuinely fascinating from a tactical standpoint. Number 1, patience. Most engagements in modern warfare happen fast. But a sniper's greatest weapon isn't the rifle, it's time. He would hold a position for hours, sometimes days, not moving, barely eating, watching, waiting for the perfect moment. Number 2, position selection. He never used the obvious spot. Every military is trained to look for the classic sniper nest, elevated with a clear line of sight. He knew that, so he didn't use it. He chose positions that seemed tactically useless. Blind alleys, low ground, rubble that looked too exposed. It was psychological warfare. He hid in plain sight. Number 3, escape routes. A shot means nothing if you get caught. Every position he chose had multiple exit routes pre-planned. By the time a response team arrived, he was already gone. Not running, vanished. Back in the city, blending in, invisible. The military calls this a shoot and scoot. But what he was doing was on another level entirely. It was more like smoke and mirrors. At some point, the decision was made. This man had to be stopped. And that's when some of the most elite units in the American military were tasked with finding him, not capturing him, finding him. Think about what that means. The most powerful, best-equipped military in human history, with satellites, drones, thermal imaging, signals intelligence, could not pin down one man with a rifle. That tells you everything about the level of this individual. Several operations were launched specifically to track him. Some came close. There were moments where intelligence suggested he was here, and teams would sweep the area and find nothing. Just shell casings. Sometimes not even that. One report described the frustration of a tracker who had studied this sniper's patterns for months. He said something that stuck with me. Slow down for effect. Hunting this man wasn't like hunting a soldier. It was like trying to catch the wind. The psychological toll on American forces wasn't just from casualties, it was from helplessness. And in warfare, that feeling is lethal. Eventually, every ghost meets his moment. Whether through intelligence, luck, betrayal, or simply one mistake after thousands of perfect decisions. The thread that had been invisible for so long finally became visible. What happened next? Pause. I'll let the facts speak for themselves. Insert. Specific documented outcome: capture, death, disappearance, surrender, based on the specific sniper you're covering. But here's the thing about this story that goes beyond the tactics, beyond the body count, beyond even the geopolitics. This man forced the most powerful military on Earth to change, to adapt, to rethink assumptions they'd held for decades about urban warfare, about sniper doctrine, about how to fight an enemy who refuses to fight on your terms. That is a legacy that goes far beyond any single battle. The story of this sniper is a reminder that in warfare, and honestly, in life, it's almost never the biggest or the strongest that wins. It's the most patient, the most disciplined, the one who studies every variable, controls every emotion, and strikes only when the moment is exactly right. That's what separates ordinary from legendary. If you want more deep dives like this, untold military stories, the psychology of elite fighters, the battles history almost forgot, hit subscribe. I drop these every week. And comment below, which sniper story do you want me to cover next? Because there are a few more names on this list that will absolutely break your brain. I'll see you in the next one.